Dear New York City, some of your best days every year are race days. There's an unmatched buzz seeing thousands of people from all over the world doing a hard thing, achieving a dream in a city known for making dreams come true. This year, I was cheering on my boyfriend Dan in the New York City Half Marathon, and I'm so proud of how far he's come in his running journey in the last 4 years. He is a fast one, which means it's an early wake up time for me to catch him on the move.
Lights white.
Regardless of the time, the hardest part for me about waking up early is opening my eyes and it being dark. The sun isn't even up yet. Oh man, I am looking puffy, but I got to wash up and do a quick Arlo walk before I head out with my motivational sign in hand. Okay, the next step is figuring out how I will get to Central Park. And man, thank you bus gods for showing up right when I needed you. The subway was down, it's Sunday, and I was really not feeling too stoked about walking a whole 15 minutes to the subway. I know I just complained about waking up early, but I do get this giddy sense of excitement inside. Like, I'm on a mission when I'm up at 'em. There's a little misty morning in the air, and there's barely anyone outside on the typically crowded New York City streets. It's kind of like when you wake up at 5 a.m. for a flight, and you drive to the airport for vacation, and it's completely pitch black outside. You know that buzz I'm talking about, right? We made it to the subway and I look smiley, but inside I am about to haul my butt over because when it's a weekend subway, you know it comes every 20 minutes and I really did not want to miss one. Now that is one of the worst feelings you could experience in the city. Luckily for me, I only had to wait a few minutes, and I've only been awake like an hour, and this is the second win of the day. The transportation deities above were really looking out for me that day, so thank you very much to them. Okay, hello Times Square, we made it. I don't think many people know this, but the first part of a race is the professional wheelchair division. And because I'm insane and show up to all of Dan's races really early, I usually get to watch this part and it's one of my favorite. Like the arm muscles on these humans is incredible. And usually crowds haven't come out at this point, so it's extra important to show these racers some love. And part of why I wanted to come early was to get myself a little breakfast. And I needed to figure out, how do I get to the frickin' Dunkin' that's across the street when the roads are blocked off? Okay, so the plan is to meet Dan around the bend of Central Park at 8:20, so thankfully we've got some buffer time. And this kind policeman told me that I needed to essentially walk up a couple streets, go down the subway, across, and come back out, and I was going to do it because it is worth the Dunkin' breakfast. We're successfully on the other side, and I know that I'm on the go, but I tell myself to take a step back and soak it all in. I typically intentionally avoid Times Square, but seeing it in this environment feels almost like a little secret moment of Times Square that most people don't get to experience. So clearly, I was not the only one with a Dunkin' breakfast on my agenda. It was stuffed in there. But pro tip for anywhere that allows you to do this is to order ahead and save yourself the headache. Also, I feel more comfortable because I can do whatever little customizations I want on the app and I don't have to verbalize them to a cashier in front of me. And I know you and I are new friends, so something you'll quickly come to learn about me is I love a good deal. So this $6 meal deal was coming right to my tummy. And the thing about getting food to go in New York City is quickly needing to find out where and how you'll be able to eat it. So thankfully, when you see a NYPD cement block, you use the NYPD cement block. And man, I love life's unexpected, random, wholesome moments like this one. Apparently there's a kids portion of the race, so I'm sitting there with my beautiful breakfast on the cement block. Hundreds of kids are running by me. I'm sitting next to these two lovely, cheering ladies. There's a slight chill in the air, but it's not too cold, and I can wear a light jacket. And light jacket weather is the best weather. And once again, I'm just taking it all in. But the feels don't stop there because on the run is the professional women's division. So another race fun fact is that if you get to the race early, you'll see both the women's and men's professional divisions. They're running insane 5-6 minute paces, perhaps faster than anyone you've ever seen run in real life. Although it's ironic watching them because you don't actually get to watch them for very long since they're moving so quickly. And it's also funny that I'm watching these athletes at the top of their physical game while I'm chowing down on iced coffee and ketchupy hash browns on the sidelines. But hey, there's a reason people like a meal on a show, right? So So with breakfast in my tummy, I was making pretty good time to head over to the meeting point that I agreed on with Dan before the race, which is about 1 mile from the end and right outside of Central Park on 7th Avenue, which you can see also is a more popular spot for spectators. So one of the reasons the day is so magical to me is because you have New Yorkers coming together to cheer on over 28,000 strangers running. You know, I've never thought the whole New Yorkers are mean stereotype is true, but it is accurate to say New York is a tough place that can knock you down. So to have an environment so filled with support and hope is really special and something worth experiencing in person. I got this motivational sign when Dan ran the Berlin Marathon last year, and I brought it back from Germany all the way to New York City. At the top it says, "I'll never run 5K," and that's crossed out, and then the bottom it says, "5K is just a warm-up." And it's proven to get dozens of head nods and smiles from runners in a race, and as someone who believed I could never comfortably run a mile, the meaning behind the sign is worth me carrying it and, well, bringing it back from Germany, even though it's a bit clunky. Alright, another pro tip is tracking your runner on the official app. So Dan's coming by soon, and I was starting to have very clammy palms, getting excited to see him because he's been training so hard, but also so that I didn't miss him amongst the sea of neon clothing wearing athletes. But when you finally see your runner coming down the stretch, oh my gosh, is it something. So much so that I'm willing to play this embarrassing clip for you.
Danny! Go, Danny!
Off my serotonin boost of seeing Dan go by, it's time to get myself over to the end since we'll be done soon. Another tip of strategically choosing the point you'll meet your runner is having it be somewhat close to the finish line, because while Dan was running another mile or so through Central Park, I had a little shortcut up 7th Avenue to meet him around Columbus Circle. And as I'm making my way uptown, I get a little ding that Dan indeed finished the race. So you can't really see your runner when they finish the race, but they do this funny thing called, well, I call it the zombie walk, where they basically make these now sore runners walk a bunch in order to get to their exit, in order to meet their families. And as I'm waiting for Dan to come on by, this is a great area for people watching because it is the most wholesome, seeing families essentially like at their tippy toes waiting for their finished runner to come, and when they see each other they'll just like scream, shout, and hug, and it's very, very sweet. And race days are unique city days because they basically shut down key parts of the city. Like, you'd never see Columbus Circle look like this with people and no cars. And most importantly, I found Dan in the sea of people, and a Central Park finish basically means that we immediately head to the Columbus Circle Mall afterwards for some photo ops, but mainly honestly to use the bathroom. And they closed off the second floor bathroom, which I feel like should be illegal on a race day when you have hundreds of runners looking for somewhere to pee. But thankfully, there is a third floor bathroom, and as you can see, it was poppin'. Okay, we don't really let Dan sit for too long because we are back outside for a little bit of cheering, and it's fun, I feel like, for Dan to watch and cheer on other people that are running the same race that he just completed. And you know my sign was being put to good use. It was kind of deja vu because we were waiting for his friend to finish, and then we had to go through the same Columbus Circle experience of trying to find each other. But then once we found each other, essentially the end of race day basically means A, you need to instantly find somewhere you can comfortably sit, and B, you need to instantly find somewhere where the runners can fuel themselves. And truthfully, I needed to fuel myself too, because yeah, you did see me eat that very giant Dunkin' breakfast, but your girl's hungry. So much so that we went to this Chipotle meets Korean food type of place that I've never been to before, where you can basically make your own bowl. And when they tell me that you can take as many toppings as you want with no charge, you know that I'm literally checking off every single topping. And oh man, my bowl did not disappoint. So after chowing this down, it's finally time to go back home. And at this point, it's only like 12:30 p.m., but I feel like I've lived 5 days in this one morning. And what really sealed the day was coming home to this meta moment of watching a newscast about the half marathon and seeing these two little kids talk about how proud they are of their mom. So the next time a big race day comes around, I hope to see you while either running it or spectating it, because it's really a New York City day like no other.